let's do this. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm starting a new series here on my channel where I give you advice on stuff. I'm a 16-year-old and I'm a potato, but sometimes I kind of know some so why do I have, oh my god, I have like sticky things here. Ouch. Ouch. Okay. I told you guys on my Instagram that I wanted to start a series on my channel where I either talk about certain topics like religion, energy, God, or like relationships, love, a bunch of like things. And also want to like give you advice on some areas. I asked you to ask me advice on certain things that you might like, and then I reflected a little bit on that yesterday. If you want me to give advice to you, or if you have topics that you want me to talk about and hear my opinion, DM me on my Instagram, the link is down below, or comment here. I don't know what name I should give to this series yet, so please, if you have a name for this, tell me down below. I want the name to be a little bit more original and maybe incorporate my name Maya. Without further ado, I'm going to read your DMs. I hope I do a good job in here, because as much as I want to give advice to you and share my experience with things with you, I also feel a huge responsibility because I'm only 16 and you guys kind of trust me. So the first issue that I'm gonna be speaking about, because it was the first CM that I got, was getting caught up in your parents' divorce. This is a really touchy subject and sometimes it's hard to separate things. Okay, sorry if the lighting changed because I had to do some stuff and then I came back and now it's a little bit later. But yeah, the first question that I was talking about is getting caught up in your parents' divorce. And as I was saying, this is a really personal topic. At the end of the day, this is an adult's problem, and the thing that I have to have in consideration is that just because they're adults, it doesn't mean like they have all of their shit figured out. It doesn't mean that they know what's best to do or that they will do the best. And sometimes parents might ask you to take sides, to take your mom's side or to take your dad's side, or you might feel hurt with one of the persons. You might feel like their problems are affecting you more than they should, or like they aren't able to separate their problems from your person. And sometimes adults may mix everything up. Something that I think would be good for you to do, and I thought about this, is to try and speak to them separately. So like get your mom and your dad separately and speak to them about how you're feeling, what you think they are doing wrong, explaining to them separately, and when they're calm and using like a calm tone of voice and showing that you're mature enough to speak to them about that can help, because sometimes they might be so involved in the problem itself that they might not think how they're affecting people outside. And chances are you don't need to take a side. Even if they're separate, you can still love both of them. And also know that something that really helps is time. Just give them time to fight and to deal with the things that they have to deal, because sometimes time is the best helper, not because time itself helps, but because people will calm down and will see things from another perspective. And you know, if it helps, go have walks by yourself when things are too stressful in the house. The next person just said not having trustworthy friends. I never really was the person to trust people. Learned that not having people to trust and not wanting to trust people is a lot different. And if you feel like you have no one to trust and you would like to have someone to have real talks to, and that you feel like you could be safe, just try starting conversations with other people. Involve yourself in groups and activities that you like. This question that is really similar to the next one that I'm going to be talking about, which is, what do I do when an old friend has already broken your trust, comes back to being friends with you? So I feel like these two come along really well, and I can kind of give some advice to both of them. So basically, in relationships, being it love relationships or friendships, a lot of things, bad things might happen. People learn with their mistakes, and people not always know what's best to do, and they also not always do what they know is best to do. And people just make these mistakes. That's why they're called mistakes. If you feel like you want to keep that person around you, if your friend acknowledges what she did wrong and she's willing to ask you sorry, and if she's trying to make things better, then give them a second chance. But especially if you see that your friend doesn't comprehend what she did wrong, even if you speak to them, then don't be the only one pushing the relationship. Tell them that you need a little of space and a little bit of time, and then after that time you decide what you want to do. So depending on how you feel, either give her a second chance, push her away, or just do not trust her as much as you did, and slowly start to get closer to other people. There was a girl that just commented anxiety when I asked for advice, and this is a really general topic. There are a lot of types of anxiety. You can have anxiety that's like normal or human, like, or you can have a level of anxiety that becomes an illness and that becomes something that should be addressed by a doctor. Nowadays our generation has a lot of things to be anxious about. We are constantly being put in a new situation with a lot of information surrounding us. Sometimes it's hard to deal and to know how to deal with that, because as I said in another video, our nature wasn't made to deal with all of this, and it's adapting. Anxiety is a topic that has been talked a lot on social media lately, and I feel like a lot of things that people say aren't right or the best way to approach anxiety and mental healthness, and I'm also not a foreign professional to be talking about it. So the best thing that I think I can tell you is that if you think your anxiety is changing your life more than it should, if it's pushing you away from things that you like, or if you think it's more than what's normal, then talk to an adult, a responsible adult that you trust, or call one of those lines that can be really helpful on the phone, and please find a professional that can help you. Try speaking to yourself. Just as you can have a kidneys problem or a heart disease, you can also have something wrong with the chemicals in your brain. We can change our behavior, but sometimes we need some help with that, and there is no problem in asking for help. But going into another direction, some things that you could also do that can help you are especially two. The first one is meditating, because when we're anxious, when we're having problems and we can't really deal with ourselves, meditating or just spending some time alone to think can be really beneficial, because we can get in contact with ourselves. Try speaking to yourself as if you were an outsider, as if you were a friend. Sometimes we forget that we should be our own best friends and be like, hey, what's up? How you feeling? Why you think that you're feeling that? What do you think you could do better? What things do you think you could improve in the way you treat yourself, in the way you talk to yourself? What's going on? Because sometimes we're really good at pushing problems away, and then one day we just freak out because it's too much things accumulate that we think we have forgotten, but they just come back. So please try keeping in touch with yourself and speaking to yourself, even if it's by journaling, by getting a piece of paper and writing everything that you can write, just to take things out, because anxiety a lot of times is related to overthinking. And the best thing for overthinking, and someone also asked me advice for overthinking, yes, exactly, is to write everything that comes to your mind. When it comes to overthinking, I'm the same. Yeah, try evaluating the situations. When it's a situation that if you think too much about it, it can just not be healthy and not bring anything good of you, then try journaling about it so that you can put everything into paper and let that thing out. I'm using my hand so much. So yeah, this was the video, guys. I really hope you liked it. Make sure to send me DMs and comments down below on topics that you want me to talk about, or give my opinion or advice that you want to hear, anything. And also please help me with names for these series of videos. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Follow me on my Instagram and subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Bye!